Oh, oops. Sorry, I forgot something. Well, we started anyway. Oh, sorry, I just realised I didn't have my good old necklace on. I like to have that on every podcast. The cross necklace. Obviously, you don't always see the cross because it hangs down quite a bit from my neck. Usually, it's like in this region of my body, so you don't see the cross. I have to sit up really tall for it. But I just like wearing it every single podcast. So, bit of a tangent. Start off with hello, everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome back to the Banterous Hour with fellow co-host TGC, Mr. Liam.
Hello there.
And today, as you can tell by the title, we shall be discussing the Die Hard Trilogy. So, first thing I wanted to discuss, Liam, are they Christmas films? Yes or no?
Well, I think the first one is.
Damn.
Second one, to be fair, there's a lot of snow in the second one, actually, isn't it? That's kind of set. Is that set? I think that's set to Christmas as well, is it? I think. Second one. I don't know about the second one. I guess you could argue for it, but I feel like the first one is. I don't know. I feel like with the first one, at least, you do hear the odd Christmas song and like reference to Christmas in the. You see a Christmas tree. Whereas with the second one, I can't remember whether you have any like Christmas references or not. Not sure. The third one, though, I mean, that's not a Christmas film. So
yeah. I don't know. Usually with Christmas films, yeah, I always think to myself, like, it's bad luck. It's bad luck. Well, it's not bad luck because I don't really believe in luck anymore. But it's not. It's weird to not watch Christmas films or Christmas specials when it's not Christmas. So if someone's got the Grinch on or a Christmas Carol or I don't know, like a random Christmas special on, I do feel a little bit weird watching them. But with Die Hard and Die Hard 2, I don't know. I feel like Christmas specials and Christmas films, I class them as Christmassy because they center around. Pardon me, they center around Christmas. You know what I'm saying? There's just Christmassy stuff in there. They mention Christmas quite a bit. Obviously, I know Bruce Willis at some points might say "Merry Christmas, pal" and all that stuff, but it's not a focus. Like, so they are films taking place at Christmas, but I wouldn't say they're like Elf or The Grinch or any other Christmas films. I haven't seen Elf or The Grinch, but like I wouldn't say they're like them, or even Home Alone. Home Alone, although it's about robbers, I've never seen Home Alone either. But you talk about those films, and people are like, have you not seen these Christmas films? But like Die Hard, I just feel like it's too actiony to be a Christmas film. Like at the end, if Santa was riding with his reindeers, going ho 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 ho, and dropping presents on the Nakatomi Towers, I don't think it wouldn't fit the film, would it? So I don't think there's anything really that Christmassy in it,
Yeah, no, it's fair. I don't know. I just thought because that's the age-old debate, isn't it? Is it a Christmas film? The first one, anyway.
I completely.
But again, no, it doesn't. Like you said, it doesn't center around Christmas, so you could easily just watch it whenever you want, really.
Yeah.
And
the way I personally differentiate, right, is that if I feel weird watching them, then they are a Christmas film. But if I don't feel weird and it doesn't feel like a Christmassy film, then I don't feel weird. It's like this Futurama special, Bender's Big School. There's a Christmas section, and it takes place near Christmas. But because the focus is more on time travel and Fry's arc and all that stuff, and a version of Fry staying in the past and a version of Fry going to the future, and a bunch of interesting twists and him learning to let go of things. It's a lot more to it than just that, and some funny comedy. Like I feel like it focuses more on the sciencey stuff. While there are episodes of Futurama that are purely Christmassy and that have a lot more of Santa Claus in, the evil robot Santa, and he is in Bender's Big School, and I guess there is Christmas elements, but I don't see it as like a Christmas 4-parter special. I see it as just Bender's Big School. But anyway, on to the first Die Hard. Die Hard. Let's do it then. Let's get into this. So, the first scene, I do find it interesting how it just starts off really laid back on a plane. And John McClane's like, no, where'd you get that idea? And then this other bloke, who we never see again, he says, you know the secret of air travel? After you get where you're going, you take your shoes and socks off. You take off your shoes and socks, then you walk around on the rug, barefoot, making fists with your toes. Even though Bruce Willis doesn't actually do that, he just makes fists with his toes while sitting on a chair, which is pretty funny. And then straight away, we know that Bruce Willis is a capable. Well, you'd like to think that McClane is capable because we see a gun holster, and a gun in the holster. And then he's like, "Ooh," and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm a cop." And it's like, oh, okay. And then he takes a taxi, and we get even more nice banter because his driver Argyle is just, asking him crap and saying funny things to him, saying like, "You married or divorced, and what's going on?" And I like how we get information just from a taxi conversation because, he's not going to. He's probably not going to talk about his issues with Holly to her. He's quite like a prideful, tough guy. He's not going to really say how he truly feels. So maybe like Argyle just, chatting with him. That's a way that we learn a bit more about McClane. And I guess we get one scene. We get one scene right before this scene as well, where they're, they're at the Nakatomi party, and they're just having a laugh and all that stuff. And Holly Gennaro brings her kids, and you see that her and John have kids, so if something goes wrong here, they've got a lot to lose, and it could be childless parents and all that stuff. It could be quite sad for the kids. So yeah, we get a laid back beginning, some good funny back and forth from Argyle and McClane. It's just funny, like with him saying, what funny stuff. I've got the script up, to be honest. It's like, so you divorced? She had a good job, and it turned into a great career. But meant her moving here, close to Japan. You're fast. So why didn't you come? Because I'm a New York cop who used to be a New York kid. I got 6 months of backlog of New York scumbags I'm still trying to put behind bars, and I just don't get up and move. You mean she wouldn't make? You mean you thought she wouldn't make it out here and come crawling back? So why bother to pack? And then he's like I said, Argyle, you're fast. So then there's that, there's that tension between them. That Bruce Willis, that John McClane probably thought that his wife Holly, or separated wife at this time, wouldn't make it out here, and he just likes being in New York and doesn't like leaving home and wants to, stick to where he lives. And then we get, a funny party when John shows up, and you've got the Nakatomi gaffer who's quite sound, and you've got Ellis who's just a cokehead idiot who clearly has a thing for Holly. And then Holly and McClane argue a bit, and then Bruce Willis goes off into another. I keep calling him Bruce Willis and then McClane. John McClane goes off into another room.
Yeah, whatever.
And then the plot starts kicking off with the German robbers / terrorists coming in the building, killing people straight away, killing the people behind that man behind the desk. So they mean business. Yeah. So before we get into that, though, what did you think of all the intro sequences and discussions?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was fine. There's some interesting stuff. I mean, yeah, it's good how it sets things up, and you gradually getting to know these characters, and yeah, like I say, it's fine, really. I mean, I think it's still, I don't know. I think it takes a bit to pick up, I guess, to get going. Like, there's a decent amount of build up, which I mean, which is still good. So there's a lot of development there, but yeah, I would argue that it's it can seem a bit slow at first. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time watching it, I did think this is a bit slow. When's Alan Rickman going to come in and say, "We are here to sort you all out"? When's he going to come in and start lighting everyone up? But obviously, on rewatch, I enjoy the intro scenes because you get to learn more about the characters. It's like in Lord of the Rings; it takes like an hour for them to actually go on the journey in Fellowship of the Ring, But I really enjoy that first hour because it's, you know, just like all the hobbits wandering around and talking, and Bilbo having his party, and, you know, Frodo and Bilbo and bloody Gandalf having discussions all with each other. So, you know, I end up liking the intro bits in the long run, but on first watch, it does sort of slow things down. But yeah, then after that, Alan Rickman rolls up and his mates, and, you know, they're all shooting and having a go at people and all that jazz. And you know that they do mean business straight away. You know, they get the gaffer up in the room and say, "Look, we need the codes to the safe." You know, and then obviously the gaffer's like, "Well, you know, you can have, you know, even if I told you the codes, it's not going to make a difference because there's people abroad who have like extra encryptions, or I can't remember exactly what he said. So, you know, there's no point in me telling you this stuff." And he says, "All right, then, if that's the case, and there's no reason not to tell us the codes then." And then they just go back and forth a bit, and he's like, "Look, I've had enough. You know, you're just gonna have to shoot me at the end of the day." And he's like, "So be it." And then Bruce Willis is like, "Oh, these guys are serious, man." You know, so it was yeah, you know. It's you know that they mean business. They just shoot someone in the face straight away. They're not just gonna pass around and
Yeah.
fart about. You know that people could die pretty quick. Um, yeah. So, and I like as well. Obviously, Tagaki steps forward. You know, he's Hans is interrogating people and saying, you know, he was born here, went to high school here, got a degree at this place." And then he says, "That's enough." And then Tagaki, you know, steps forward, and that is a truly good gaffer. He steps forward and ends up, unfortunately, paying the ultimate price, you know, but it shows that he was a good gaffer. Rest in peace, sound guy. Another thing I like as well about the film, I like how John, you know, straight away, even though he's a cop, he feels really worried. He's like, "Why the fuck didn't you stop him, John? Because you're an ignorant son of a bitch. You'd be dead too. Think, god damn it." You know, and yeah, I like how straight away he's not thinking, "I'm going to go in and kill these assholes, these German fools." No, you know straight away that he's panicked and worried, and he's not just going to bloody run in there guns a blazing. Another aspect I like as well is how, although there's hints to what they want, you don't actually know what they want. Like, he's on about releasing different people from different, like, terrorist or freedom fighter organizations. I know he mentioned people about from the IRA, like these people need to be freed. All the other organizations or terrorist groups, I don't know what they were called. I can't remember their names, to be honest. But he just said, "I read about all these people in a book, in a magazine," and then obviously it was all just to confuse everyone and get people released so he could rob everyone and take the money. So I like how he sort of, if you don't pay full attention to the story, which I didn't on my first watch, you think, what do these guys want? Why they're storming the building? Oh, they got so many plans and they're professionals and all this stuff and all this jazz. But obviously it's all just for money. They're just very, very good thieves, aren't they? Another aspect to the film that I really like is how McClane is very up against the wall for a lot of the film. You know, it's just him versus a load of people, and it's not like he takes on like five guys in a fist fight. You know, when he kills the first guy, the blonde dude, it's a good big quick back and forth. And at first he doesn't want to kill him; he just puts a gun to his head. But obviously the German guy doesn't give him much of an option, and they're throwing down. And obviously then they end up falling down the stairs, both of them, and the German guy lands on his neck and dies. And then he writes something silly on his on the bloke's t-shirt and puts him in a lift. And then John McClane goes down and he hears that he's on top of the lift trying to get information from them. But with his back being against the wall, I like how, you know, it's difficult to get the police there first. It's such a battle to get them there. And then the police lieutenant chief bloke is having to go at McClane every chance that he gets. And then the FBI aren't really being that helpful. They're just trying to do their own thing and think they're one step ahead. And they're even trying to shoot McClane at one point because they think he's one of the terrorists. And also he's got Hans and his men to deal with as well. And he's probably got his marriage on his mind. So I feel like he's just pushed up against the wall completely, you know, and he's got so many different things that he's got to deal with, and his physical pain as well. You know, and he hasn't eaten or drank for hours. So, you know, he's probably really struggling. So the struggle he goes through is definitely one to admire and enjoy, to watch him overcome these struggles.
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so he kills one blonde guy, tries to call the police, and they're completely useless at first. They're like, "We'll send one person," and oh no, sorry, they try and send some police cars, but then I think Hans calls them or someone else calls them, and then the police cars go away, and then I think he calls the police again, and then they send Powell, and Powell's just driving round, and then he goes in, comes back out again, and then obviously I think Bruce Willis kills a couple more people, and then he throws them out the window, and Powell's like, "Whoa!" and then drives off, and then he gets the whole of the LAPD there. So that was a battle to get the police there, but we got them there in the end. Well, Bruce Willis got them there in the end. So fair play to him. I like as well how even Hans has his own crap to deal with, because the blonde German guy who died, he's got a blonde brother as well, who's like, I want revenge. This is ridiculous, you know, and all this stuff. I want revenge. I want to kill him, even though Hans is like, all right, if you don't do anything now, he'll be neutralized at the top of the lift, so don't worry about it. He's like, no, I don't want neutralized. I want dead. And then he's just so obsessed with revenge, even though he could have just left Bruce Willis stranded up there if he wanted to, and they could have eventually killed him anyway. But he's just obsessed with revenge, so Hans has to deal with that aspect of things. And obviously, the blonde German guy just seems to want to sacrifice the mission and throw away the mission just purely just to get revenge for his brother. But obviously, they're just both doofuses in this universe, just for getting into the crime world. But you know that guy, he was actually in The Witness and in another film, and he wasn't in anything else, and he died when he was like 45 because he was like an alcoholic.
Really?
Damn, I can't believe that this dude was only in 3 films, and in each film he did a damn good job, man. I can't lie to you. Like, I thought he did pretty good in The Witness. I think he did fine in the because I didn't realize it was him. When you don't know it's the same person. Oh, hold on, he's been in other films. Sorry, I got that completely wrong. I thought he only did 3. He hasn't done many films, but when I tried to look him up on my phone, it came up with The Witness, Money Pit, and Die Hard. But now it's come up with Anna Karenina, The Zone, 31 June. So he has done other stuff as well, so fair play to him. But originally, he just kept coming up with only 3 films. But yeah, it's a shame that he succumbed to alcoholism and died. Like, quite bloody sad, to be honest with you. But I guess it's just how life is sometimes, I suppose. Sometimes people get addicted, and it's very unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, as I say, I remember that he was in Witness as well. Yeah, because isn't he? I'm trying to think. Did he fancy the? I'm trying to think.
Harrison Ford's missus.
Yeah, well, the one who he has a fling with anyway.
Yeah, they have a short fling and then they leave each other at the end, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, Rachel Lapp, that's it. Yeah, I honestly can't remember, unfortunately. He probably was, but I can't remember.
I think he did like her. I think, but I think I'm not sure whether he was. I think there was like a bit of tension between him and Harrison Ford at first, was there? And then but then after they sort of become friends, don't they? Or they become more friendly.
Yeah, I think so. What else happens in this movie? Yeah, I like the back and forth between him and Powell on the walkie-talkie, how he can give information to Powell. And I like when Powell, stands up to the stupid chief of police, who just keeps having to go at John McClane every single chance he gets. I like how, at first he has to keep his identity secret and sort of like talking code and all that stuff. But then obviously because of that doofus Ellis, which gives John McClane even more stuff to worry about, Ellis goes, "Hands, baby, I'm your ticket to the detonators, man." And Hans is like, "I will shoot your friend." if you don't tell me where my detonators are. And then he's like, Ellis, you met me tonight. Tell him you don't know me, Ellis. Tell him you don't know me. These people are serious, man. And then obviously Ellis is just because he's on coke. Like, who'd go in with a bunch of terrorists and try and make this stupid negotiation? Like, basically, even if Bruce Willis had given up the detonators, like, Hans's plan was just to get everyone killed anyway. Because he wanted everyone to think he was dead so they could run off with the money. And so even then, he did, even though it says we don't want loss of life, it's like, bro, you were prepared to, like, basically kill all the hostages anyway to disappear. So he's just a real bloody scumbag, isn't he? But obviously Ellis is also an idiot. I know Ellis isn't to know that, but why would you try and negotiate with a bunch of people who are non-negotiable? They're just a bunch of evil swats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also like as well when the scene where Bruce Willis and Hans are talking, but you don't know. Hans puts on a fake American accent, and then he gets the gun, and then he's like, right, please tell me where my detonators are. And then he says, oh, what? Oh, go on then, Hans, la-di-da-di-da. And then he's like, I count to three. What, like he did with Tagaki? And then he goes, and he goes, says, so it's not loaded, you idiot. That was pretty funny. Then obviously Bruce Willis has to deal with running on the glass as well. That's pretty brutal. I really like the scene where he he speaks to Powell on the walkie-talkie, and he's like, look, just tell Holly that I was a bit of an idiot and I should have supported her more and all that stuff. And then he's like, you can tell her yourself as long as you stay put and stay concentrated. Obviously, the dialogue's different to that, but I just can't remember exactly what they say to each other. That scene really hit hard because I felt like, man, this dude is really going through a lot of horrible stuff. He's really having to deal with some crap here. And no one's on his side. It's just brutal for him. And then I also think it's cool when Hans finds out, because of that idiot news reporter, finds out that Holly Gennaro is Bruce Willis's wife. Really, McClane's wife. I really enjoy that scene, and it's like, no. But then because that German bloke went upstairs, he crushed the walkie-talkie and just wanted to kill Bruce Willis. And that fist fight, a lot of the fights in are really good, but I just feel like, why didn't he just shoot Bruce Willis in the back of the head? Why did he why did he put his gun against his head and start chatting crap to him? You'd think he'd just bloody shoot him in the head if he was that bothered about revenge, but I don't know, he must just want Bruce Willis to suffer, maybe. I've got no idea. I guess it would have been a bit of a sad ending if he had just got shot in the face and then all the hostages got blown up. That would have been a bit of a low note, and then we would have had no more Die Hard films. But yeah, I like how obviously Hans is very ahead of the game when he's like, well, get us our helicopters, and he sends the hostages to the top floor, and then he's like, there's a bomb, go, 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 go. And then they're like, Hans, something's wrong. Everyone's running away, and he's like, no. And he's like, set the bombs off now. And then the top floor blows up and the helicopters get blown up. And I like how they were shooting McClane, and because the plan failed and Hans blew up the top floor and they were both trying to double cross each other, if Hans hadn't have blown up that helicopter, John McClane probably would have been killed. They probably would have shot him. So Hans ultimately, by blowing up the top floor, caused his own downfall.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. And then I like the final scene as well, when he ties two guns to his back and he's laughing. And then he pulls the guns and then goes, pew, 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 and he shoots the American bloke who's assisting them. And then I think he shoots Hans, and then Hans falls out the window, doesn't he? And then he's holding on to Holly. And then I like how Hans is a bit out of it. Then he's slowly bringing the gun up. And then he takes the watch off and Hans goes, doo, 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 doo. I love the slow motion while he's falling. That's so cool. It's just such an iconic death scene. And good riddance to that absolute idiot. And I'm kind of glad that the IT bloke didn't get killed. The guy with glasses, he just got punched in the face by Argyle, because at the end of the day, like as much as he's evil, he's just a hacker. You know what I'm saying? He's not like I don't think he deserves to get shot. Basically, he just deserves life in prison for assisting those scumbags. Um, you know, so I'm kind of glad that he didn't die. He got punched in the face. But I guess he did aid in them, so I wouldn't be too annoyed in him getting killed off. I don't know. And it's funny when Argyle's got his like, isn't there like some big cuddly bear in the back of his taxi, and he's just chilling with it, and then
Yeah, yeah.
He's just listening to music for the whole time, and he's just oblivious to what's going on.
Oh yeah,
Such a Lord taxi driver to limo driver to wait for Bruce Willis this whole time without trying to drive off. Like, what a legend! His boss must be furious. He probably lost his job after these escapades, but I guess we'll never know. That was legendary though. Probably the best taxi driver going. I'll just quickly check my notes about this film, to be honest with you, and you'll see if there's anything else that I had to say about it. Where are we? What did I say? Let's have a look. Yeah, I like how grounded the story was, how we were eased into the action. I mentioned about how well the plan was and how it was good for John, how he's up against the wall. I like the scene where he pushes the computer down the elevator shaft, and I like the scene because it's just like it's just sort of like him just thinking what can I do. Then he basically blows up the bottom floor, which is pretty funny. He sticks it to those idiots holding everyone hostage. And I like how efficient the robbers are when they're trying to get the SWAT team in, and they're firing like rocket launchers at the tank, the police tank type thing. They're just really self-sufficient. They don't even need to execute hostages. They're able to take it to the LAPD, and they're just able to fortify and defend the Nakatomi Tower and defend themselves. So they are a formidable force and brutal foes to face, and very entertaining and fun to see John McClane overcome all of them. Obviously, it does beg the question: why didn't Hans just send like 7 men up to the top floor to get McClane? But you can make the argument that maybe there's one guy up there. He probably isn't armed. He's probably just some random geezer. He'll probably come quietly. Let's just send one person up so we can monitor all these hostages easier. And then another time he sent 2 people up when John McClane's under the table. And then the German bloke's like, you should kill people when you have the chance. And he's like, he just shoots him in the balls and in the stomach, and he's like, yeah, thanks for the advice. That was pretty funny. And it makes sense for him to only send a few people up because it's like they have to monitor all the hostages at the bottom. If there's only a few people with guns, maybe the hostages could just run at them and try and overwhelm them. Obviously, they might get mowed down, but they might just take the chances. Well, the more armed men there are, the more, the more chance that they get mowed down. But yeah, I like how at the end of the film as well, Holly and John make up, and John realizes his mistakes and how he should be more thankful for stuff and the life he's got, and how they should try and have each other's back and stay together and support each other more. It's funny when Holly punches that news reporter in the face. Obviously, we get a bit of backstory with Powell as well, as he says he accidentally shot a kid, and that's why he just works in the offices. But then, because that German bloke somehow survives getting hung by chains and the building exploding, he comes with a gun, and John sort of covers Holly so she doesn't get shot, and then Powell goes pew, 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 so he overcomes his fear of having to shoot an assailant. So that was really good and satisfying to see. Overall, I'd give this a 10 out of 10. One of the best films ever. Just an easy watch, quite a lot of fun. I feel like the writing's great and tight. I feel like it's not every film has plot armor and all that jazz, but I feel like it's as realistic as it can be. It's as tight as it can be. I feel like it's honestly one of the best action films ever. Definitely in my top 10 films of all time. That and Terminator 2 are probably some of the few action films that I give a solid 10 out of 10. Amazing. Absolutely love it. But I know obviously I've talked for a while, so I don't know if there's a lot more that you want to say about the film and what your score might be, Mr. Liam.
Yeah, I'll just read from the notes I made after I watched it. So Yes, I thought, thought it was a great film overall. Really is a classic. Like I sort of said when we were talking about the intro, I'd argue that personally the first, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes can seem a bit slow, but I still appreciate the slower pace that establishes the setting and the characters before the film ramps up later on. The film is a slow burn, but compared to a lot of slow burners, I'd say this one is more rewatchable, at least for me. Great, I thought the characters were great on the whole, especially the two leads, John McClane and Hans Gruber, acted very well by Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman. Other members of the cast were good too, such as a few of Hans Gruber's henchmen and Holly Gennaro, John's wife. The main policeman, Sergeant Al Powell, was another standout. He didn't appear till about 45 minutes in, but he has a prominent role in the film from that point. He's another likable character who even has a bit of a character arc of his own. The interactions between John and Hans and John and Sergeant Al were two of the best aspects of the film. And I guess those scenes were like some of my favourite scenes in the film. Like you've sort of said, we get to find out a bit more about John and Al through their conversations, and that Al kills a 13-year-old boy as a rookie. He said it was dark and he couldn't really see anything, but the boy had a ray gun, which looked real enough. He was living with that and couldn't bring himself to draw his gun on anyone again. And then, like he said, what was satisfying was that at the end, he finally has the courage to draw his gun again when he kills Carl, who is revealed to not be dead somehow. Like you said as well, a lot of clever writing and great memorable lines. John and Al finally meeting each other at the end was satisfying and emotional, especially considering the friendly relationship they developed from talking over their walkie-talkies. And I'll give it a 9 out of 10. So definitely up there, like you said is like, say, one of the best films ever, really, and definitely one of the best action films ever. So 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 is pretty high praise for you. I haven't heard many ridiculously high ratings from you, so that's very high praise. Fair play to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now on to Die Hard 2. So quite an easy watch still. I do enjoy it quite a lot. I don't know how much I'll have to say about this because, to be honest, I just sort of, with action films, I kind of not switch off entirely, but like you don't have to pay as much attention. It's just fun stuff going on and you just enjoy it. But I'll say what I remember from it. So it starts off with him at an airport. So it's not just another hostage situation, which I like. You know, it's a different type of villain. It's a villain who is trying to get a general from another country who's coming into a. I can't remember what he did exactly. What wasn't he, like some drug trader or something? Who's like a high up person in like a South American army. I really can't remember, to be honest with you.
I
I'm
can't
trying to
remember.
look at the story actually because I watched a bit of it this morning, but I just didn't have time to watch all of Die Hard 2. But yeah, let's have a look. Die Hard 2. It takes place 2 years after the previous film as well. Meet Esperanza. That's it. Esperanza's playing. So there's so Esperanza is some, I don't know, criminal or whatever. These group of American soldiers who are like traitors to the army. They're trying to rescue him and fly off somewhere. So there's this bloke called Colonel William, and all I'll say is he's definitely the weakest villain of the Die Hard series because, bro, I don't know if the same person did the same person who directed Die Hard 1 direct Die Hard 2.
No.
Well, that's they should have got the first director back because you do not introduce a villain by doing naked karate in a hotel room. Like I was honestly like, what am I watching? Why are we seeing some random naked bloke practice karate? This is like, it's laughable. Like, why would you introduce your villain like that, man? It was just really bloody strange, to be honest with you. So I was just like, what on earth is going on? To be honest with you, I was just so bloody baffled. And
Not
as a
really.
villain, he doesn't really have a presence for the whole film because he just sort of they take over that church, him and his henchmen, and then he's just trying to get planes to crash into airports and run out of fuel, so the lights aren't on, so they can't crash. I do like how Bruce Willis actually fails badly in this one, man. Like he tries to help the plane land, the plane from London being flown by Colin O'Brien, which I was good that he got killed off in it. I was like, damn, poor. I wish he was in a bit more of the film because he's a really solid actor, man. I thought I was really like, why is he talking in a British accent for? Like, why didn't they just let him speak Irish? Because he did a good he did a good English accent. I just thought like I just expected him to come out with all right, we're coming in for landing now, and like him, but he doesn't sound like that. He has a bit more of a we're coming in for landing now. I can't do his voice very well. He has a bit of a deeper Irish accent. But yeah, he's a solid actor. I wished he was in the film more, to be honest with you. But there you go. Right, where is he? I'm trying to find him. Deep Space Nine. He's in that, man. I'm trying to. I could be getting his name wrong. I don't know. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I just looked him up, but it came up with a young actor.
Meany. Colm Meany or Colin Meany. I swear his name was something else. I swear his name was Colin. Mate, no. That can't be right. Oh, that must be his name, Colm J. Meany. Then there you go, or Colm J. Meany. I think Colm is how you pronounce it in Irish, in like Irish pronunciation. Well, that's how it's meant to be pronounced, anyway. Yeah, Colm Meany. I wished he'd been in the film more. I could swear his name was Colin O'Brien, man. I could swear that was his name. Layer cake. You know what? No, Colm Meany's coming up in all the. What on earth? I'm going to look up some film credits because I swear that's not his name, unless it's some sort of Mandela effect I'm having. I'm pretty sure that's not his name. I don't know. We've got 6 views at the moment. How you're doing? Thank you so much for joining. Feel free to comment and say what you'll think of the Die Hard trilogy, the original trilogy. But yeah, I feel like that villain, he loses his presence as soon as they leave. Well, sorry, I was just saying how I like how Bruce Willis couldn't save that plane and they blew up. I was like, damn, the plane actually blew up and all these people died. Like, damn, that's crazy. But yeah, I feel like that villain though, Colonel Mustard or whatever his name is, lost his presence when him and his mates went off on the snow speeders, that or the snow jet skis or whatever. That just made me think like, well, he doesn't have any power anymore. It's just Bruce Willis running after them. What else was quite good? I like the fight scenes in the airport. I like when the T-1000 was throwing down. I thought, what's he doing in this film? Like, why didn't they give him more lines? But obviously, this was before Terminator 2. Yeah, I guess Bruce Willis is back still up against the wall. The police department are quite annoyed at him the airport police are like, to him, and he's like, he says to one of them, what pops up sooner, the on the on the security detector or whatever, the lead in your ass or the shit in your brains. It's like brilliant, quite funny. I like how we get Powell in this as well. Powell helping him with the facts and the fingerprints. That was pretty cool.
Only a very brief cameo though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish he'd been in more of it, but I guess wouldn't have. He's just some dude who works in an office. Like, why he wouldn't be all the way in New York, would he? But I don't know. I would like them to have wrote him into it more somehow. I would have really liked him to have been in the third one. Like, I don't get why they didn't have him in just a little bit of it. He did a really good job. Whoever played him, he did a great job.
It'd been funny actually if he was with him instead of Samuel L. Jackson. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. But the dynamic wouldn't have been as good. Like,
yeah, I don't know how well it would have worked. It's just funny to think about.
Yeah, like Samuel L. Jackson being like a bit of a geeky, smart guy in the film, and angry and witty and all that stuff, and good with the riddles. I don't think it would have worked as well with Powell being in there. to be honest. Like
No, maybe not.
they have to overcome their skepticism of each other. You know, well, with Powell and John McClane, it would have been a lot easier for them two to work together, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, it might have been more of like I suppose, a buddy cop film, I guess.
Yeah. And Simon in that film, obviously, he wanted the Good Samaritan to help him out. The Good Samaritan to help out. You know, he didn't want anyone else to go with Bruce Willis, to go with McClane. I mean, but yeah, back to the second film. Man, honestly, I'm sorry, I don't really have loads to say about it. I was daft to not even write notes about it. I've seen the bloody film twice. I like how Holly's in this one as well. You know, there's pressure on John McClane because Holly's on the plane, on one of the planes. I guess the general and the colonel are interesting characters. I like when those Marines come in and they end up stabbing him in the back. That ends up for more interesting confrontations after. You know, when John slowly finds out that that the guns were fake guns. You know, they're just like they don't fire bullets. They just go, but they don't fire anything. I like how he just shoots at someone. Like, it was a cool scene, but John McClane wouldn't have done this. He could have got fucking killed for doing that. Like, just opening fire on an airport police officer. They would have thought, what's wrong with him? Like, when he went, like, bro, like, I wouldn't have been surprised if I was thought someone's going to bloody shoot him, but obviously there were blanks. And so it was a cool scene. It wasn't so silly that I thought, bro, like, why have they added this scene in? Like, it's just a bit of like, that doesn't really make sense. It's not as grounded in reality as the first one, is it? But it is what it is. It's hard to make these films. You know, it's hard to make everything in an action film add up. Like, the main character's always going to have quite a bit of plot armor. I like the fight scene on the plane when John McClane's on the wing and that Marine officer's like, man, I kind of liked you, McClane. You know, it's like, don't, I'm an asshole, you know, and they have an interesting fight. I'm surprised I didn't try and shoot McClane, but I'm guessing could have bullets, I don't know, caused the plane to blow up if they'd accidentally shot an engine. I don't know. But he was a clear shot, wasn't he? Why didn't they just, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to waste ammo.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's another one of those things, like in some films where it's like they'd rather have like
a fist fight.
Like a fist fight, yeah. Or they're like, it's like, oh, you know, like, show me what you're made of, or like, you know, or like they want to be more like, I don't know. I suppose it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, being manly enough and all that. I suppose, I don't know.
It's kind of cool and gritty, isn't it? I suppose, and it's a lot cooler than just seeing people go.
Oh yeah,
yes. Isn't it?
Yes, I suppose it's usually more interesting, entertaining, more dramatic. I suppose. The
Marine sergeant dies, so then Colonel has to go out and fight him, and the Colonel does win, but then because McClane managed to I don't know how he pulled the fuel cap off, but obviously it was leaking fuel. So it would have been quite funny if they're saying, bye-bye, you loser, ha 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 ha. And then McClane's like, yeah, see you later, assholes. And then it says, like 2 hours later, the plane's going down, no! That would have just been so fucking stupid. That would have been that would have just been like one of the dumbest villain losses ever. I would have honestly laughed my ass off at it. I would have been like, it actually makes a lot of sense. Like, they don't realise that they're losing fuel, so they either have to land somewhere or they're just in the middle of the Atlantic and they're just like,
yeah,
we're going down.
Yeah,
and then that would have honestly been hilarious. But obviously, the preferable, cooler thing was him being like on the runway floor going, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And then the fire goes up, and then they're like, oh no! That's obviously way cooler than fast forward to 2 hours later, we're going down! You know. I thought this one was a bit more gruesome as well, like, especially when they slit one of the Marines' throats.
Oh yeah, I was going to say about that. Yeah, like you he has a very unfortunate fate, yeah, because
Yeah,
he's the only one who isn't part of this. He doesn't know what's going on, and then they just
a war hero a
yeah.
hero wanted to serve his country, and he's like, "You weren't there for that, were you? No. Oh, I wish you had been. Why? So I don't have to do this." He's like slits his throat, and all the Marines are just sitting there. And it's like, damn, these people are really insane. You
I
know,
know they don't like seem to feel anything. They're just like stare, like they're just staring at him
I mean,
when
what
he's.
thing is, like, what are these people's end plans? Like, at least with Hans, like, it made a lot of sense. Like, everyone would have thought the German geezers are dead, and I don't know, the two American blokes that helped him. Um, like they would have thought, all right, everyone's dead, that they've escaped. Who cares? Well, and they would have had so much money that, and they were professionals, so they could change their identities. Like these soldiers were known to people. Like how are they going to like I don't know meet women and settle down and enjoy their lives? You know what I'm saying? They're just like chilling on a beach all together forever. Like, wouldn't that get quite boring? What are they going to do with their time? They've got to go and hide it. I mean, it just seems like a bit of a dumb plan just to free this general. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's more to it because maybe they would have gone to a country where he wasn't wanted, so they could just all live their lives happily, I suppose. But it just seems a bit weird, and I don't. It's not really explained why the colonel turns his back on America. Like he just sort of is like, the general's such a cool guy, and I look up to him. Blah, 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 blah. It's like,
Mm.
well, it doesn't really make sense why he's such a villain. Like he was set up, he had loads of money from his war stuff. I'm guessing. Um, I guess it was kind of funny when he told that reporter he says, "Yeah, I got two words for you, fucking you." That was pretty funny. Like, there's obviously that reporter Samantha Coleman seemed like quite a cool lady, really cool. But
Mm.
you know, there are some reporters who you wish people would just say, "Yeah, I got two words for you, fucking you." Some of these arrogant twat reporters, but obviously you can't say that to them because then you look like the unprofessional twat, and they look like they've got one up on you. Because there's some reporters who just are idiots, man. I can't stand them. Yeah, I liked what else was cool about the film, though. I don't know. I'd say some things that make it not as good as the first one. It just doesn't feel as grounded in reality. The villain isn't as interesting. I feel like John McClane doesn't act as human as he did in the first one. I feel like he's a lot more. Obviously, he's distraught when the plane goes down. And Bruce Willis still acts well, but I feel like just the writing isn't anywhere near as tight. It's still a very great fun film. Like, I still enjoy it an awful lot. The action's great. It's an easy watch. The villain's still pretty decent. He's just nowhere near as good as Hans, and obviously not as good as Simon as well. I, but I liked, as I say, I liked how Holly was in it, and that's one of the weaknesses with the third one. I don't know why they got rid of Holly Gennaro. It made no sense. That was just stupid. The actress said it might have been something to do with her age, but that's just ridiculous, man. If they got rid of her just because she's a bit older, like, bro, Bruce Willis would have, I'm guessing, been in like his 30s or whatever. I don't know how old the woman who played Holly Gennaro would be, but I don't know, man. It just seems stupid to get rid of such a good, solid character. So that's one thing I like better about the second one is that she's there, and it ends with them two riding off into the sunset, and that reporter gets electrocuted again. Well, not again, sorry, he gets electrocuted, doesn't he, by that little old woman, I think, when he's trying to report everything while he's in the toilet. Um, Overall, I give it
Mm.
like an 8.5 out of 10. Like, yeah, it was pretty great, but it wasn't really like anything like next level brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I'll just go off the notes I've made again. So I thought it was not bad, but definitely worse than the original. John McClane was somewhat entertaining, but not as much as in the original. I agree with the points you made, like about his character, I think, and the way he acts and the writing and all that. The writing being, um, the writing not being so clever, I suppose, and not so tight and um, not so good, basically. Yeah, so his wife Holly acted like she did in the first film and stood no missing. The police officer from one had a cameo, Powell. I thought a few of the characters were somewhat interesting. I thought the main antagonist was okay, but I don't think because I know with Hans Gruber in the first one, we see him actually kill someone, don't we? I don't know whether
Yeah,
he only kills one person or not, but we do actually see him kill someone. Whereas with this main antagonist, I don't think we see him directly kill anyone. I don't think the actual the main antagonist. Of course, he gets that plane to crash and whatever, but It's just his men that who we see kill people. The basic plot has similarities to the first, with some differences here and there. But I thought the action set pieces weren't as engaging, while they seemed to go further with the unrealistic elements. Like you said, it didn't seem as grounded in reality as the first one. And I know this is something you see in like a lot of TV shows and films, and it's kind of something maybe you see more in like the Die Hard sequels. But I noticed in the firefights, a lot of the bullets were easily missing their targets, and so I was wondering, and how John wasn't killed at several points, who knows? But it's one of those things. You do see that a fair bit in other things, but I feel like at least in the first Die Hard, you don't really get that or much of it. I don't know, where it feels like John could easily be shot and killed, in one of these action scenes, considering how close the opponents are, how close his enemies are to him. But yeah, and I've said, I know Die Hard is known for aspects like these, especially the sequels, but the action scenes were even more unrealistic than the first. John had to find a different way to be smart this time, opening the fuel dump hatch on the plane. So yeah, he can blow up the plane, which was cool. Cool new way of killing the antagonists. The police officer in this one was the opposite of the first film. So he was the opposite of Powell. He was arrogant, stupid, and an idiot for most of the film before he finally came to his senses in the climax, but didn't actually prove to be very useful at all. I thought it was an interesting twist with the Major and his men actually revealed to be working with the Colonel, although I'd say the signs were there relatively early on. The other key characters weren't very memorable. The ending was a bit abrupt, and the film seemed to have a bit of a faster pace in places. So I'd say the pacing was worse than the original. Overall, even though it's not a bad sequel, it fails to live up to the high standards set by its predecessor and is less rewatchable. I'd much rather rewatch the original, and I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
I think 7's still pretty generous. And obviously I gave it a higher score, but I feel like you have been pretty fair to the film there, because a lot of people think like the second one's like not that good. So, but I still really enjoy it a lot. And I was going to say I really like the scene where they throw loads of the grenades in the cockpit. That was pretty cool. And you think, how's he going to get out of this one? And then he uses the ejector seat. That was actually pretty cool. But yeah, I completely respect you giving it 7 out of 10 there. And we're not going to get another chocolate with nuts SpongeBob SquarePants season 3 moment where I'm like, and I think I was completely broken. I think I had a cybernetic bloody malfunction on that podcast.
Yeah, can't remember what episode that was.
You giving all that was chocolate with nuts, where they're chocolate salesmen, SpongeBob and Patrick.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because throughout the whole review, I mean, I think I've done quite well, because throughout the whole review series, you poo-pooed a lot of the best episodes among the SpongeBob season 1 to 3 fan base. You poo-pooed a lot of the really good episodes, bro. So I think I did quite well, to be honest. It's just chocolate with nuts. I thought he's just going to say it's average. He's going to say it's an average bog standard episode. I thought it was one of the worst episodes. It was absolute. I thought it was rubbish. But I guess you like Just One Bite, don't you? Where Squidward gets the Krabby Patty addiction.
I think so, yeah.
Did you rate that one highly when he's like, "You love Krabby Patties," and he's like, slams the door and he goes, "I love Krabby Patties," and he's just going, and he goes, "Stop, Squidward, stop!" And then he goes, "What will happen? Will it go straight? Where's it going to go? Straight to my thighs? Yes, and then you'll blow up." Oh.
Yeah, I was just looking. Yeah, I'll put it in my favourite episodes. So yeah, definitely.
You did like it, then that's good.
Yeah.
Got no clue when I'll get round to rewatching SpongeBob season 4. But then when I looked through season 5, I thought there's some absolutely crap episodes in here. I'm going to probably end up getting. I think we might eventually review 5 seasons of SpongeBob, and then maybe we could just go over all the movies or something. I might try for season 6, but I only recognise like 2 episodes in there. So I think I just got really fed up by season 5, and I thought, you know what, I'm getting too old. Even though I was like 9 or 10 when season 5 came out. I think I just got like fed up of bloody SpongeBob SquarePants by then, and I thought these episodes. So But obviously, you never watch those episodes, so who knows? Maybe you'd like some of them. But the problem is, there's just too much. The fan base describe it as Squidward torture porn. Like, there's too much of Squidward doing nothing wrong and basically getting like horrendously punished in the show, and it just makes me genuinely want someone to just roll up SpongeBob Patrick and shoot them in the face with a rocket launcher. I honestly get that angry at some of the episodes. It's ridiculous. Like Rocco's Modern Life got on my nerves a bit when I tried to rewatch that because Rocco basically gets punished for no reason in a lot of these episodes. But you that's sort of what the comedy of the show is meant to be. Like everyone's meant to be a jerk off, but I personally don't like it. It just makes me angry. I just want to shoot the people in Rocco's Modern Life with a rocket launcher to the face. They just get on my nerves that much. Like I feel like when the best times when Squidward gets punished is when he actually deserves it. That's what makes it funny. But when he doesn't deserve it, you just think, well, why am I watching this? So it's very annoying. But yeah, I guess back to Die Hard 3. Yeah, so this film honestly kicks off a lot better. We get flung into the action ridiculously quick in this one. Like a bomb goes off in Chinatown. You're like, what's going on? Then the police are like, quick, get McClane here. And then obviously the bloke wants John McClane to go to do his stupid pranks. And you're like, who is this guy? And obviously I did have it sport for me, unfortunately, that he's Hans's brother. But I think it would have been a lot cooler if I didn't know that. But it was still cool. It was still interesting, you know. And yeah, McClane has to go in Harlem and wear a sign topless that says "I hate N words," and you're like, well, why is he putting McClane through this? Who is this guy? What on earth is going on? What if I was McClane? Obviously, I don't. If I just say to the police, I say, look, if these bombs are going to go off anyway, like this dude's probably just going to blow everyone up anyway. Like I'm not doing that. Like this could just be a prank for all I know. But obviously McClane thought, you know what, if there's a chance it saves lives, then fair enough. And then we get Samuel L. Jackson's character getting involved in the story, and he's got a bit of I don't know. Straight away, he's got a bit of a bit of prejudice towards white people. A little bit, not that much, not loads. He's not a racist guy. He's just a little bit just got a little bit of prejudice, and he doesn't really go on much about his backstory. But he says to his nephews, he's like, what are you guys? He's encouraging them to do good things. He's saying, go in school, get this sorted, do that, and don't rob things because then your friend will pin it on you and get you put in prison, and your education will be ruined. And he says, who do we not want help from? The white man, exactly. And it's like, so that he's probably got that aspect to overcome. And Bruce Willis, maybe he has certain things that he's got to overcome because he's like, oh, you don't know how to use a gun. And he's like, what is that meant to be a dig at me? And and he's like, no, I just thought you might know how to use a gun. And he says, no, not all brothers know how to use guns. And he's like, oh, okay. So maybe deep down, John McClane's got some minor stereotype type things that he has to overcome. And I feel like they both have interesting things that they have to overcome. Like John has to probably learn to just be a bit more respectful in general. And maybe, Jesus has to actually like overcome his trust issues and his minor prejudices. So those are interesting arcs that they've both gone, and they both play off each other really well. And them two arguing with each other throughout all the silly tasks that Simon gets them to do. It makes all the conflicts and everything a lot more interesting and fun, rather than them just getting along straight away. And the actions, while it's unrealistic, it's quite fun, like him driving across the park to get to a certain location, stop a bomb going off, and then, all the blowing up and madness. And then you think, damn, he's basically like bombed a train and all this stuff, and then Samuel L. Jackson's like, I need to answer this phone. If you're going to shoot me, but I need to answer this phone. So, he's got a good heart deep down because he's like basically willing to bloody die, just to stop a bomb from going off on a train. Like, what a sound bloke. And obviously Bruce Willis as well. He's willing to die, but obviously he's a cop, so he's just doing it as his job. And I feel like Simon over the phone is quite interesting now. He just seems to know everything about everyone. He knows who those FBI people are when they're talking in the car in one of those scenes. So that's quite interesting. And then the riddles are fun. I didn't know the answer to any of them. So if I was helping either of them out, I would have been like, well, we're going to get blown up, aren't we? Unfortunately, because I'm nobody good at the riddles. So yeah. What do you think of the intro and all of Simon's antics? Simon says John McClane is to go around drunk and get his belly out.
Yeah, yeah, I thought, yeah, it's gets straight into the action, even quicker than the second film. I mean, it's fair enough. It makes sense because this is the third film now, and so John McClane's well established, and of course, there's these other new characters in the film. I mean, I think it's fair enough because in the first film, there's a lot of build up to Hans and his goons like turning up and whatever, and starting things. And then I guess, I don't know, the second film, it's a bit different how it's all structured, but yeah, I guess it makes sense in the third one. So that's good, I suppose. I like that. I'm just trying to think. I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, I suppose because it gets right to the action and it introduces the antagonist, pretty quickly too. Even though we don't see him for a bit, we just hear his voice for a bit. It takes a bit to actually see Hans Gruber's brother in the flesh, but it's still entertaining to hear him speak and mess around with John McClane and Jesus and do the riddles and all that. And
oh yeah, when John thought that Zeus's name was Jesus, that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because Jesus wasn't his name. It was like,
no,
he
yeah,
said, Jesus, and it's like, why'd you keep saying Jesus? Well, that bloke called you Jesus. He says, no, my name's Zeus. He said, hey, Zeus. That was pretty funny.
Oh, sorry. So he's called Zeus, is he?
Yeah, he's just Zeus, man.
He's sorry. Oh, sorry. I thought
you were making the same mistake that McClane was making.
Oh, it's because, yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 It's because you said. I thought you said. Yeah, you said Jesus before. Because I thought. Yeah. 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 I suppose the intro's good. Yeah. I suppose it's just interesting to see where John's at. He's sort of. Well, I don't know. Things are not going so well for him. I suppose he's like. It seems like he's like a bit of an alcoholic or whatever or something, is it? Because he's just sort of like, isn't he just in like the back of the police van or something?
Yeah, he says I've been suffering from a really bad hangover.
Yeah, so it seems like he's I guess his life's not in the best shape at that time. But yeah, you still get some funny stuff here and there and some funny exchanges and whatnot. And yeah, like I say, it's a good intro, really. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I just like how in control he is, like I say, and you think, well, I knew he wanted revenge because I already knew that he was Hans' brother and all that stuff beforehand. But yeah, I like how he's just giving him riddles, and I like the back and forths on the walkie-talkie. They're very interesting and fun. Pardon me. And obviously him saying, I put a bomb in a school and you're going to have to figure out which one it is. And then obviously it all comes into his plan because all the police are distracted and stuck doing their own thing, trying to sort the bomb out and find out which bomb the school's in. And he means business because he set that bomb off in Chinatown. But then obviously after that, you're thinking, all right, he's got everyone distracted and he's basically just robbing the big bank in New York and taking a ridiculous amount of money. So that was pretty cool. So he's basically fooled everyone. And after one of the riddles, one of the kids says, "Oh, the police are busy, man. You could basically rob City Hall." And then he just realizes, Bruce Willis realizes, damn, that's yeah, crazy. And then what happened? What other stuff? I can't remember all the riddles off the top of my head, to be honest. I might get them up. Die Hard 3 riddles. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, gallons of water. Well, what about the other ones? Oh yeah. As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Each wife had 7 sacks. Each sack had 7 cats, and each cat had 7 kits, cats, sacks, and wives. How many were going to St. Ives? Answer is 1. Because as I was going to St. Ives.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Because he met a man. That was actually a really good one. The water jug one. Measure exactly 4 gallons of water using the 3 jug and 5-gallon jug solution. Fill the 5-gallon jug completely and pour from the 5-gallon jug into the 3-gallon jug. So the 3-gallon jug is full. That leaves 2 gallons in the 5 jug. Empty the 3-gallon jug. Pour 2 gallons into the 5-gallon jug. Pour 2 gallons from the 5-gallon jug into the empty 3-gallon jug, and then fill the 5-gallon jug again. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah.
I would have found those riddles. I'm no good at riddles, man. But I do like hearing the answer to them because you're like, oh, that was obvious. But I'm just no good at most riddles. And what else was pretty cool about the film? Yeah, the tension with the bomb going off. That was pretty like, damn, what's going to happen? You know, like they get onto the boat, and like Samuel L. Jackson's like, tell me the codes. He's like, afraid I can't do that. Afraid I can't do that. And he's like, ugh. And he's like, well. He's like, safety's on, and just shoots him in the leg. It's like he's so casual. It's like he knew like this dude doesn't know how to use a gun. He's a geek. I like the I did. Well, I enjoyed some of the action. The only bit that I thought, like, what on earth is going on, is when he was in that underground tunnel and they blow the dam and he's driving away and he spins it round somehow by skidding it round. I'm like, bro, there's no way you'd be able to do this. This is not realistic at all. And then he grabs onto one of the ladders and somehow pulls himself up while the truck's moving. And then he climbs up the ladder slightly and then the water shoots him out 20 feet into the air. And then he like lands on mud. It's like, he'd need a hospital visit. He wouldn't be able to have done everything else in the rest of the movie. He could have potentially died, but like obviously he'd need to go straight to hospital. But he somehow gets up and there's geezers shooting at him. And like again, it would have been a boring film if he just died, but I feel like it's just not realistic. It's just an ultimate plot armor moment there. But the chase scene was good, and then obviously he gets the ID out and looks at the geezers' IDs, and they figure out where the trucks are, which is pretty cool, and it's just very intense and fun. And as well, obviously, I liked how there wasn't actually a bomb in the school, and he's like, "I'm a soldier, not a monster." Well, that was pretty. That adds a lot of depth to him as a villain. Yeah, and I liked how that fat geeky bloke, not fat geeky, but sorry, fat bald bloke with glasses. It was like, I think Charlie's his name. Yeah, Charlie. I like how he was like, "No guts, no glory," and then he cuts the wires and he tries to think, "How do I do this?" And then he's like, "There's kids in the building, then I'm staying." I thought, man, he's actually like, he's a ballsy good geezer, man. Like, what a sound bloke. Basically willing to die, you know, to just save like a few kids, which obviously you'd like to think a lot of people would do. But no guts, no glory, like you said. I guess fair play to him. The end was pretty cool as well. How basically John McClane has lost, and they end up really helping each other, Zeus and McClane, because he's like, "Do you want to know why I fell out with my wife? Because we had an argument on the phone, and I never called her back." How long ago was that? A year ago. Samuel Zeus is just laughing his arse off at him. Oh, that was brilliant. And then obviously John McClane tells the truth, because originally he said the bomb went off in Harlem, but obviously went off in Chinatown, didn't go off in Zeus's area. So it's like, damn, you really are an arsehole. And then, well, you really are an asshole, McLean. And then obviously Zeus is saying, "Get out of here now, get out, get out." And he's like, "No, I'm going to help you." And then they obviously get out in the last second, and that's pretty cool. I like as well how he does the bidding of, I don't know who it was who put him up to it, but he said people in the Middle East are pissed off at with America's wars and all that stuff. Governments in the Middle East, and they basically wanted them to blow up all the money. But obviously the tall German bloke's like, "He betrayed us." And then the lady shoots the tall German bloke, because obviously she's with Jeremy Irons. And they were just going to run off with the money and make people think that they blew up, like, $500 million or however much it was. Then what else was cool about it? Yeah, I like how just because, Jeremy Irons, he was like, come on, you said your brother's an asshole. Why are you going to kill us now? And he's like, there's a difference between thinking someone is an asshole and not caring about one's brother. And he's like, oh, so, but this has nothing to do with me. And then obviously he's like, have you got an aspirin? I've got a banging headache. And he's like, yeah, go on, then here you go. And because that aspirin was done in Quebec, that's how they find out where he's, where the German people are all hiding out. Because you think, damn, he's actually lost. He's just complete. I thought with the end film, I thought, damn, he's lost there, but he must. I don't know what happens. Like, damn, I guess this is an interesting twist. Like, McClane has just lost. Like the villain's got away. I guess that's how it is. But then obviously they find out where it is, and like, oh, okay, we can't end the Die Hard trilogy with this. We can't end it on a low note where John McClane loses. They find him and have a great showdown, hella fun. And then obviously the final standoff, he sort of tricks him into crashing into the electric poles, and then then the helicopter blows up, and then he calls Holly back because originally before they went to Quebec, he called Holly, but he had to run off. I'm surprised they let Zeus go with him, but I guess you can't have the ending without Zeus. He's done so much in the film, you can't not have him there. And then that's the end. Jeremy Irons gets blown up in the helicopter, and his German misses. It's a bit annoying she didn't get any dialogue. I was a bit annoyed at that. Maybe she just doesn't speak English in the film. I don't know, but I just wish she'd had some dialogue. Amazing film. I love it. He really is he plays the role really well. Jeremy Irons does, and he's a great villain in it. And it feels like he has a ridiculous amount of control, and he's one step ahead a lot of the time. Bruce Willis is, he has a bad hangover and he has to solve a load of riddles. It's not just like a hostage situation or an airport situation. It is something different. And I feel like they should have just ended it here, to be honest with you. I'm a bit good Holly's not in it, but I guess it made sense for this story. But I would have liked her to, I don't know, maybe show up in an epilogue scene or something. I don't know. I thought it was an amazing film, 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it.
So what I've put is, so I'd said before, an interesting one which wastes no time, even less than the second film, in establishing the plot, getting right to the action and introducing the antagonist. John is somewhat separated from his wife Holly, and she doesn't appear in the film at all, except for one line near the end when John calls her back. If that's her speaking, I don't know. So I think you hear a voice, but I thought Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson have good chemistry. Both were funny and entertaining, and I enjoyed watching John and his character more than I did in the second film. Thought he was better in this film. It seemed more like we got the John McClane from the original, and I found this film funnier than 2. Plenty of funny lines and one-liners. I thought the plot was more engaging and frankly better than 2. I liked Jeremy Irons as the villain and the action set pieces, although I did feel that the film had pacing issues in the second half and the ending was a bit rushed, almost as if the studio wanted to just wrap up the film as quick as possible at this point. Therefore, while the way John took out Simon was cool and different again, it didn't feel quite as satisfying as the original Die Hard. Probably less than a minute later, the film ends after John and Zeus have a brief exchange with the film, ending in a bit of an abrupt fashion. In comparison to the original, though, the film focused on the antagonists for longer, as they were the threats the protagonists were focused on for pretty much the entire film. A slight nitpick I have was the editing of the scene where John and Zeus jump off the boat. I mean, this is a nitpick, but it's something I noticed where the editing of the scene where John and Zeus jump off the boat as it explodes, when it cuts to a shot of the two when they're about to jump, John is still talking when it cuts to this shot, and so you can see his mouth isn't moving in that shot, which it cuts to in this shot.
I never noticed that. That's a good spot.
Yeah. I think I might have rewound it as well because I've noticed, and so I thought that was a bit, but But again, it's minor, really. I felt that with the way a lot of the second half was edited, it felt perhaps like the film was moving too quickly at times, despite still being 2 hours, and or some of the cutting and suddenly jumping to the next location that John and Zeus needed to get to next could be a bit jarring because they're suddenly in like another place at the time. You know, points in the different points in the film. I found it fascinating that Simon didn't really like his brother Hans and wasn't as cold-hearted as him. I don't think. Well, I guess, and I don't think Simon actually killed anyone himself as either, did he? Like the villain in the second film.
Yeah, it was
Or
mostly other people doing his bidding, wasn't it?
again, yeah. Although he would have killed John at the end, I guess, because of it came to that basically. He would have killed him with because didn't he have like a big minigun or something, which he was shooting at John with, I think,
Oh yeah.
or something. The decisions Simon made are intriguing, as he originally let Zeus go and only shot him in the leg later on, like he's mentioned. And yeah, I said the bomb wasn't actually a bomb. The bomb at the school.
But when did he let Zeus go?
It was, I think it was when.
Because when Zeus is at the football pitch, it's the reason why they don't shoot is because Simon doesn't give the order.
I think it was before that. It was trying to think. I'm trying to think whether it's before, whether they're on the way to the bank or not, when they break into the bank or not. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, when they say, "Do you want us to the Samaritan showing up? Do you want us to kill him or not? Give us the order," and he just went, "Let him go." I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
it.
yeah. Because I think two of his men are disguised as police officers, are they, or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
I can't really remember exactly what happens in the scene and what is said, but yeah, I know that. Yeah, he does. Yeah, say to let him go. But yeah, I said the bomb at the school wasn't actually a bomb, as he wasn't willing to kill children. Like he said he was a soldier, not a monster. Basically, everything Simon did was a distraction, so they could conduct the heist and get away with the gold while making everyone think they hadn't. Despite its flaws, I enjoyed the film and prefer it to the second, with it having more rewatchability. I would say it's a better film than the second too. However, it also doesn't quite live up to the original, even though it has its director. But the writers for this one are different to the first film. But I'll still give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah,
So,
fair dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was the Die Hard Trilogy. I really enjoyed talking about. I guess with action films, it's kind of harder to come up with stuff to say sometimes because it's rather than discussing like why this character's doing this or story beats or meanings behind it, it just sort of like there is that element to it. Like if it was just mindless action, it wouldn't be fun. But like it's not as story driven as other films. But 1 and 3 are still absolute. Well, 1 is like goated, 3 is amazing, and 2 is still very great in my opinion. I enjoy it a lot. A very underrated, slept on trilogy. I think it's one of the best trilogies ever for consistency. Not like the best, but up there, man. I'd say like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, then maybe this, to be honest. Either maybe Toy Story. This I don't know. I probably need to rewatch Toy Story. Probably, I honestly think this is a bit better than Toy Story. This trilogy. I know people are like, how can you compare these films? But I can compare my enjoyments and how good the story is and the characters. And yeah, maybe Toy Story has better characters, but like I don't think 1 and 3 are like masterpieces. I think 3 is probably like a 8.5 or a 9. 2 is probably like a 9, and 1 is like an 8.5. But then again, that's similar to Die Hard, really, when you think about it. But none of them are like 10 out of 10s, in my opinion. With Toy Story. So I'd say Toy Story is the 4th best trilogy, then probably like The Dark Knight after that. Could be wrong though. I mean, we did a trilogy tier list ages ago, so maybe it might be fun to redo it. But it depends how many trilogies you and George have watched, I suppose. Like you guys haven't watched as many trilogies as me, so
Yeah, I mean, there's certain ones I have watched as well, but that was years ago, so I'd need to rewatch them as well.
yeah.
So
And
it's
I just
first
try
one.
to stick to original trilogies. I don't like watching the whole franchise. I mean, we could try and judge franchises, but I am not going to sit around watching like the 6th or 7th Alien film or like the 8th Jurassic Park film. You know, the only franchise I'll do that for is, well, obviously Harry Potter, because that is a that's a continuous story. And I guess Star Wars, I've watched every film, but to be honest, if they do a 10, 11, 12, I'm honestly kind of done with Star Wars now. After they shafted Andor and ruined its potential. Although the second season was amazing, still they've ruined everything they could have done and made in making it a 5-season show. And so I've honestly, it made me lose all interest in Star Wars. I'm just trying to rush through Andor to get on with more crap. So I'm honestly kind of done with Star Wars, man. And I've been done with Marvel for a while. Like if something looks good, I might watch it, but I'm not going to just continuously watch every single Star Wars thing that comes out now. I'm just kind of done with it, you know.
Fair enough. It's a bit of a shame actually that like there aren't any live action Star Wars shows that have gone on for like quite a few series. Like we've
Yeah.
only got, I think, The Mandalorian, which has had 3 series, but don't know whether that's going to get series 4. Of course, we've got the film coming out, but that might be like sort of replacing series 4. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So,
I just think Disney have no clue what they want to do with it. At least I feel like if George Lucas had kept it, I don't think we would have had Clone Wars be amazing as it was. I don't think we would have had a show like Andor, or even the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, or even Bad Batch. But I feel like, as much as I think George Lucas is overrated as a director, I feel like he's a great storyteller. He's good at coming up with stories, but for writing and directing, I feel like he's like writing scripts and dialogue and directing things. I feel like he's a bit dumb. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I've never done what he's done, but I feel like he's a bit. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like he's a bit out of touch and doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like he needs a lot of guidance. That's the best way to put it, because I don't think he's like an absolutely awful director. I just feel like he's not all that good. But I feel like if he was in charge of Star Wars and just let good directors do things and let other people write scripts, I feel like it would be in a better place overall right now. It wouldn't be like amazing, but I feel like it would be overall in a more satisfying place than what it is right now. We wouldn't have as much content, but I feel like there might be more diamonds in the rough instead of just like Disney pooing out shows all the time and all this crap.
yeah, I mean, I know, of course, he had plans for 7, 8, and 9, but whether he would have actually done those films had he not sold Lucasfilm, I don't know.
I don't think he would have done, because he said, "Oh well, they would have just treated them like the prequels. Oh, it wouldn't have been good. My poetry, you know, he wouldn't. He just wouldn't have been. I honestly don't think he would have done them. I think he thinks the prequels are like brilliant theatre. When I know I've ragged on the prequels a lot before, and I rewatched them in recent years, and they're not as bad as what I thought. Well, Phantom Menace is a bit worse than what I thought it was, but the Attack of the Clones has a good intro and an okay ending. It's just that Anakin and Padme stuff is a bit boring and not that well acted. The starting sequence is very good. Revenge of the Sith is actually pretty decent, probably like an above average film. I feel like there's some amazing scenes in there, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. As much as I laugh at the do it and all the madness, I feel like there is a lot of silly acting in there and over the top silliness. And I feel like it would have been so cool if George Lucas had let that stunt double do Palpatine's fight. We were really robbed there instead of just having Ian McDermott do the whole thing. Like, that's just a bit dumb on Lucas's part.
Yeah, I mean Nick Gillard, who is the stunt choreographer for the prequels. Yeah, because he has because I imagine that extra stuff you saw like with the fight scene. Actually, I don't know.
That was sick, though, wasn't it? All the spinning round and madness. I thought, this is legendary, man. Why didn't we?
Yeah, because he's got a channel and he's uploaded like all like the choreography that they filmed like when they were planning out the fights, I guess. But of course, it got a lot of this choreography was cut. It didn't make it into the film. But
well, unfortunate.
Yeah, a lot of these duels are actually meant to be like a lot longer, and there's some great stuff in there. Like the Anakin, like when Anakin fights Dooku in Revenge of the Sith, there's meant to be a fair bit more there, and some really cool choreography. Because of course the actual duel in the film is quite short, really. But and yeah, there's meant to be more with the Palpatine Windu fight, and again, that situation is unfortunate with what happened. Like the fact that originally it was meant to be the stunt double would be, you know, would stand in for Ian McDermott to do the choreography and pretty much the whole fight. And then, for some reason, on the day of filming, George Lucas, George changed his mind and
I want some poetry. I want some poetry.
yeah, he decided I want it to be like I want it to be close, like all close ups and whatever. And so of course then he had to just like Ian McDermott had to learn the choreography and I think at the same time, I think like people have said, I think Samuel L. Jackson maybe he might have been a bit frustrated with that because it was like it was his lightsaber duel, and I think maybe he wanted to maybe have like one that was like longer and faster and maybe I suppose more epic, like because like he could do the choreography and probably keep up with the speed and
Yeah.
and being able to like fight with the stunt double instead, you could really sort of make it a faster duel. But I still enjoyed the duel, even though it was short and how it turned out. But yeah. So.
Well, fair comments, bro. Let's get on to the segments then. And so the first is yes, yes, new, yes, yes, new. So this is the segment where I say to Liam, how much money to do X, Y, Z, and then I keep raising my offer until Liam says yes. And the goal is to get as close to Liam's amount as possible, like the lowest amount he'll do it for. And most time I do go a bit over, but it's a bit of fun. So go to a cinema with GC, and it's just you and GC in the cinema. But he picks the anime film, and it's garbage. It's just borderline hentai garbage, and he basically does what he did in that, that other cinema that he said was a lie. He lets one off in the cinema, let's say, and you've got to sit there. How much money? So let's start off. All right then. This is quite a horrible, annoying thing and very degenerate of GC, of course, in this scenario. And the anime smut that he enjoys, it's dreadful. So let's say 30 grand as a starter.
No.
60 grand.
No.
100 grand.
No.
You don't see anything, by the way. It's just him with his hand in his yeah. So obviously that's what he said not to bring it up on the podcast. I'm not going to say anything, but he said it was obviously just him in the cinema watching that anime film. 200 grand.
No.
300 grand.
Yep.
500 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with you there because obviously watching the anime film will probably do that for like 10 or 15 grand, but it's the fact that he's sitting there, like that makes it like a billion times worse. So I agree with you. 500 grand, 100%, definitely.
Cool.
Do you have any silly questions for me? Have you come up with any?
No, I haven't come up with anything. Actually, I suppose. Okay.
Here we go. Yes, finally a question from Liam on Yes New.
I don't know if this is that good, but how much to drive the MG at I suppose at George's house? How much
How
Which is
how
such,
have I got to drive it all the time?
um, sure, yeah.
Oh,
So
wrong.
let's start with minus 50 grand.
You twat. No, no chance. No
Justified.
chance. To be fair, I've done this to you loads, so fair
Yeah.
game. Bro, I'm boarding here. What's going on, man? Oh, wrong side. I'm boarding. I'm boarding. I'm getting my comeuppance for all the ball jokes.
Mm. Um, 10 grand.
No. How long have I got to drive it for the rest of my life?
Pretty much, yeah.
Bloody hell. Oh, no, 10 grand. I'm not doing it for 10 grand.
50 grand.
No,
100 grand.
no,
250 grand.
no.
500 grand.
You might be a bit shocked. No.
750 grand.
Yeah, I'll do it for that because I feel like that should be enough money. Well, I can get a second car anyway, and that would be enough money to get Ubers if I needed to. But obviously, I could have done that for 50 grand and just spent loads of money on Ubers, but I just don't see the point. But yeah, that was a good one, Liam. Fair play to you. Yeah.
Thanks, yeah. I was wondering whether you were going to go into the millions, but you didn't. So
I was tempted to, but I thought, you know what? Like, I can buy another car with that 750 grand and just spend a load of money on Ubers if I want, so it's not the worst thing ever.
okay.
Or I can just walk to work instead or something.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be easy
Okay.
to maybe think up one that's like Jaws related again because you did
Yeah.
a Jaws related one. So
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
like get a local, a bloody, get a local job instead. Obviously, I can't walk to where I work, but what I mean is if I got a local job instead within walking distance, that might be better if I had that crap MG. Okay, so now moving on to movies recently watched, where we talk about the movies that we watched the most recent watching or near most recent. Um, so for me, it's American Gangster. Watched it today at my nan and granddad's with my nan and granddad. Really enjoyed it. Are you going to watch it, or can I spoil it for you?
American Gangster.
With Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe.
Let me just look it up. Probably haven't watched it, but let me just see. No, I haven't watched it, but I mean, you can spoil it if you want.
Yeah, so it's a great film. It sort of shows, that crime isn't paid. The main character played by Denzel Washington, he's kind of, I don't know, he's a sort of dude who he keeps everything professional, but he is quite brutal with what he does. And like obviously Russell Crowe as well, he's like a corrupt cop in it. And he's kind of interesting. And he's a bit of a deadbeat dad in some aspects. Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy it quite a bit. It was a pretty good film. It was very long though. I felt like they were dragged it out quite a bit, but I enjoyed it quite a lot. In the end, at first it says, because it's based on a true story, the gangster Frank, played by Denzel Washington, he ends up getting 70 years in prison at first. It says sentenced to 70 years, and you're like, what? But then Russell Crowe quits the police force and becomes his solicitor and gets it down to 15 years. But his mom moves away from New York, and his wife gets deported back to Costa Rica. So he's kind of, you see him leave prison, and he's all alone. So although he's an interesting fun character, it shows that crime and dealing in the hard drug business does not pay one bit. So he has to learn his lesson and deal with his consequences still. Obviously, he gets let off, and he has to rat out all of his brothers who he originally got into the lifestyle. So his brothers, if he became a soldier, they would have followed him. If he became a preacher, they would have followed him in that. Because he went into the drug business, they followed him in that. He's like, biological brothers and all that stuff. And yeah, they all end up in prison. I'm pretty sure. I think he ratted them out. I could be wrong, but it seemed to be implied at the end that he had to tell on everybody, and his brothers, I'm pretty sure, were involved in that business. So yeah, he's basically lost everything by the end of it. But if you deal in drugs which ruin people's lives, and you're basically in a business where people are killing each other and you're aiding that business, then as much as he's an interesting fun character, you just get what's coming to you at the end of the day. You can't just get off scot-free. Even though some bad people do, like Henry Hill, he got off scot-free to a degree. He really ended up getting to relocate to a different part of America and get away from the gangster lifestyle. But obviously he's not as evil as Frank, but he's still a pretty bad guy. and he basically just got away with everything just by ratting everyone out. But yeah, it was a good film. I mean, I don't know if you'd like it or not. Someone at the start, Denzel Washington, well, one of his henchmen is pouring gasoline on this random bloke and setting him on fire. I'm pretty sure he was some gangster bloke who messed something up, but still, and then he shoots him while he's on fire. So I feel like you've seen that at the start of the film will probably put you off the film, and there is some fairly violent scenes in it. I don't think it's your sort of film, but it is a pretty good story. It has a pretty good story, and it's quite interesting. So 7.5 out of 10, pretty good.
Okay. Well, so is it like? But it's not like. I know, of course, it's a very sort of, by the sounds of it, dark, gritty, serious film, and
yeah.
But is it like a? But it's not like a. It doesn't have a happy ending, I suppose. Is it
I guess for Russell Crowe, kind of, but for Denzel Washington, it's bittersweet. Like he would have got life in prison, or 70 years. So it's just bittersweet. You basically I guess he does the right thing by turning into a rat at the end by ratting his mates out. But like he loses his wife and his mom in the end. His mom moves back to North Carolina and his wife gets deported to Costa Rica. So he's kind of lost everything, but he doesn't have to spend life in prison. So there is a chance. It's open ended. I don't know what that gangster did with his life. I might look it up, see if he went on and met someone else and had kids and whatever. I don't know, and lived a normal life. No, but what was your most recently watched then?
Well, like I said before we started the podcast, technically I think it's 17 again because we were watching those films for the last podcast we did. But I think the last one that I watched, or at least watched most of, that wasn't for the podcast was Gran Torino.
Oh crap! You watched it? Nice. I watched that as well. So we can go into spoiler discussion with that. What did you think? What did you?
Oh, I thought you said you hadn't watched that because you went through those films. Oh, you have? No, yeah, I thought it was good. Yes, Clint Eastwood film. He directed it too. Yeah, it's not your typical, I suppose, action film as well. Again, though, Clint Eastwood, he is old in it, and well, he's not really old, but he's old in it, and but yeah, it's interesting. I suppose he's he plays a likable character. Some other interesting characters in it too, and even his son is in it briefly. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm just looking at like the plot synopsis here because it says it's follows Walt Kowalski, a recently widowed Korean War veteran alienated from his family. When Kowalski's neighbor is pressured by his cousin into stealing Walt's prized Ford Torino for his initiation into a gang, Walt thwarts the theft and develops a relationship with the boy and his family. But yeah, because I think it starts with, doesn't it start with Walt at the funeral? At funeral,
yeah.
That's it, yeah. But it's like, but you learn that his kids, or at least his son and his wife and the grandchildren, they don't seem to respect him and care, and they're more interested in the money. Basically seeing what they can get out of this situation and getting money and I suppose and all that, and they don't really seem to care about their dad and their granddad, and then even like the way they're acting at the funeral too. It's not very respectful. I think isn't the granddaughter, isn't she like smoking pot or something as well?
I don't know.
I don't know if he finds a. I don't know, but and he's very he's very grumpy. He's very Walters, and he's just
he's very
wants to be
all the time.
Yeah. and he's
I love the bit when he's had a few drinks at the Korean people's houses, and he's like, "You're a big fat pussy." That made me laugh. When he has a go and says, "You need to talk to that girl because you are a big fat pussy, man. I was lucky enough to marry the best woman on earth, and I want that for you as well." And then he's trying to teach I can't remember the teenager's name. But he's trying to teach him how to like do stuff and look out for himself and be smart and get a job and all that jazz, and how to talk to people when you're having your hair cut. You know, how do I talk to the barber? Fuck you, you piece of shit. Oh yeah, that's very hello, Walt, you grumpy old twat or whatever. You know. And his sacrifice at the end was like because I watched it for the first time weeks and weeks ago, and I was watching it with my nan and granddad, and they was like really gutted at the end. They were like, "Oh, I thought he was going to kill them all," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I already knew about his sacrifice because it was on the top 10 saddest movie sacrifices." And when I used to watch Mojo back in the day, and so I knew what was going to happen, but I feel like it would have been cool him gunning them down, but he didn't want to kill any more people because it's messed with his brain, killing people in Korea. And in addition, I don't know, he probably felt like he didn't want to bring a bad name on his family. You know, he didn't want to bring them any hassle. If he went and killed a load of people, even if he died himself, it looks pretty bad on him. Well, if he gets them to gun him down, he doesn't look anywhere near as bad. And it was so funny when all the inheritance went to the Korean family. That was hilarious.
Yeah, they were not happy.
Yeah, serves him right, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could do a full review of Gran Torino. I didn't think you'd like it. I thought you'd find that sort of film boring, to be honest. But I'm glad you liked it.
No, yeah, I thought it was thought it was good. Yeah, I thought Clint Eastwood was entertaining, and liked his character, and again, at the end, you know, in a lot of other action films, you might expect him to go when he goes after the bad guys, and then has a big shootout with them or whatever, or guns them down. But it's not the typical climax or whatever. Yeah,
usually Clint Eastwood goes and guns are blazing if you watch his other films.
Yeah, but
I was going to quickly say, I used to look to react to a forest fire brick film for the laughs.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I don't know what this segment is, just react to videos, or we might try and come up with a better name for it. I think I used to have a name for the reacting segment, but I just can't remember what it is. Yeah, let's get it up and watch it then. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is done by Forest Fire 101, all credit to him. Obviously, this does have some anti-politically correct jokes by nowadays standards, unless you're the writers of South Park and you can do what you want and have a good laugh. But obviously, Forest Fire's obviously toned down with what his old humour used to be. Maybe it's because he might think I've grown up, I don't find that humour funny anymore. Maybe he's just worried about the modern Western landscape, how people don't really like un-PC humour anymore, unless it's South Park. And I do think South Park's hilarious. It's one of the best shows, but I'm just saying they're the only ones that really are willing to say, like, make edgy jokes and have a good laugh. I mean, witty, edgy jokes, not like just blatantly being an idiot to people.
In the deep dark layer of the Batman.
Come on, almost there. Batman! I think I heard a window break in the kitchen. Ugh, Robin, you're probably just hallucinating again. Seriously, go take a nap. But Batman, there's a monster in there. I said go! Ah! Ugh.
Hello, Batman.
Oh my god, Nightwing, you messed up my game of Tetris.
Yeah, sure I did. So anyway, who's that kid running around in my old costume?
Oh yeah, that's the new Robin. After you left, I found him on the streets, and so I just, took him in.
So what, did you just so it pretty much seems like you just abducted a child.
Yeah, well, when you're a billionaire, you can pretty much just do whatever you want.
That has aged very well because they can do what it seems like the rich and powerful in some aspects can just do whatever they want and hide things under the rug, doesn't it? Bruce Wayne in this universe, he's abducted a child and made him into the new Robin.
Yeah.
Well, you obviously broke in my cave for a reason, so what do you want?
Well, you see, Batman, since I left, things haven't been going well for me at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought I could fight crime by myself, but I just can't afford the batarangs.
Yeah, they're custom shaped titanium alloys, so they're pretty expensive.
So anyway, I started whoring myself out. But after I had the money and stuff, I was just too tired to fight the crime.
So you decided to come crawling back to me, huh? I always knew this would happen.
So will you take me back? I'll do anything.
Anything?
Yes?
No, man, I'm just with you. Of course you can rejoin the team. You're way better than that new Robin I have. Wait, Batman, if he joins, what'll happen to me? Robin, I said go to bed!
What do you think of?
Well, since
What do you think of this version of Batman? Then being pretty sociopath type guy.
Interesting. Yeah. It's,
Robin's a case full of glass, I guess you could take his place.
You think I could have health insurance this time around?
No, I don't think that's gonna work for me.
Batman, you're like a billionaire. Come on.
Yeah, and I didn't get this far by giving handouts. Now, come on, we have work to do.
Feels good to be back in the old suit. Kind of smells a little weird though.
Oh, yeah, my dog uses that cape for a blanket, and he has quite the bladder problem.
Look, Batman, that woman.
Looks like a horse kicked her in the face. You sure that's even a woman?
No, not that woman. That woman.
I got a knife and you don't. Okay, we have to save her. On my mark. 10, 9, 8. Robin?
Are you okay, ma'am?
Yes, thank you so much. You're the best hero in Gotham.
Hey.
Here's my number. Call me.
Will do. See you later, sweet cheeks. What the hell was that?
I'm just doing my job.
Listen, if you want to be Robin again, you can't go around and show me up like that. Just tone it down a notch, okay?
Okay, sorry.
Obviously, as well, this Batman's just an egomaniac. A citizen's life's been saved, and then he's like, you've outdone me here. Screw you.
yeah.
Oh my God, where am I?
Good morning, Master Tim. I took the liberty of picking you up from the hospital.
Thank you so much, Alfred. Seriously, Batman was trying to convince the nurse to fill my IV bag with antifreeze.
Not a problem, Master Tim. Are you feeling any better?
Well, the doctors say there's a chunk of glass still lodged behind my eye, but besides that, I'll be fine.
That's good to hear, Master Tim, because I have some news for you from Master Bruce.
Can I finally stop living in the dog's house and get my own room?
No. Master Bruce has told me that you are to become the new butler.
But you're the butler.
Yes, but I'm like 18 years old now, and I believe it's time for me to go out and have some fun.
Okay. But do I get an awesome butler suit like you?
No, these are expensive. I've got some rags if you want them. Now come along, we have work to do. Okay, Tim. The first thing you need to know is how to properly entertain house guests.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Wayne, being a billionaire of his stature, gets a lot of visitors, so we're going to keep them around for a couple of hours, then send them off without any interaction with Bruce himself, because that's the kind of he is. Now go bring the guests their tea.
Okay. Okay, I brought them the tea, but just to be clear, you told me to use the jar of sugar on the left, right?
You imbecile! I said the jar on the right! The one on the left is where I keep the rat poison.
Oh, shoot. Wait, why the hell is there an unlabeled jar of rat poison next to the sugar? That's not very smart.
Boy, do not question the ways of the butler.
Man, what a night.
Yeah, I'm just exhausted from discovering.
You and GC. You and GC on a robe on a session with UGC in the robot on a session with me. You three, 2 pints in me, 5 pints in. I'm just sitting there looking at what's going on.
How many points for the robot?
Probably you and GC, probably 2 or 3, maybe 3.5. And then the robot, like a few beer particles goes up his nose or cider particles.
Man, what a night.
Yeah, I'm just exhausted from discovering cheap alternative fuel sources for our nation's cars.
Yeah.
And ending all conflict in the Middle East really wore me out as well.
Wait, when the hell did you do that?
Oh, I did that while you're in the can.
Ah. Well, I guess it's time to start heading home. You need a ride?
I'm okay. I got my own car.
Where? What the? Ow! How'd you get that?
Oh, it's a cloaking mechanism I invented. State of the art.
Oh, well, can I get a ride?
Sounds fun, Batman, but I'm late for poker night with the Justice League.
Well, why wasn't I invited?
Gotta go.
Okay, Tim. The next step in becoming a butler is learning how to use the bat mop.
Does Batman have to name everything after bats? Like the bat toilet. Is that really necessary? Hey, Alfred, do you see my gun anywhere? I was thinking about killing myself today.
What's wrong, Master Bruce?
Oh, nothing. It's just that Nightwing is better than me at everything. He even beat my high score on Galaga. Well, I can take back the position. I promise I'll be better this time. No way, Tim. I'd rather deal with a giant douche than have headaches 24/7. Man, I'm so sick of Batman treating me like a kid. I could be a badass if I wanted to.
Okay, Robin, these floors aren't going to wax themselves.
Nightwing thinks he's so much better than me. I'll put him in his place.
That's it. Go to your naughty corner.
No more Mr. Nice, Robin. Nightwing, consider yourself dead. Right after I watched the new episode of Hannah Montana. I'm so alone.
Oh my God, Batman. Have you heard the news?
Let me guess. A bunch of villains escaped from jail. Again.
Yeah. We have to stop them, Batman.
Man, how do they keep escaping? I bet they have some kind of underground tunnel system like in Law Abiding Citizen. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I give it 2 out of 5 stars. But we have to get moving, Batman. The city's in danger.
Fine, I'll go, but we have to drive my Batmobile.
I don't know, Batman. I think you might have had a little too much to drink.
Aw, man, it's cool. I'm just a little buzzed. Yeah. All right, guys, let's go over the plan one more time.
Yeah, Robin. We've been through this a zillion times. When Batman and Nightwing run in, Croc hits Batman with a club, and you slaughter Nightwing with a machete.
Can I consume Batman's flesh after he's knocked out?
No, Croc, we just had McDonald's. Plus, I want Batman alive. He will serve as my sidekick once this whole affair is sorted out.
The only thing that'll be served is jail time. For you, Robin.
Oh my god, even your one-liners are better than mine. I'm gonna kill you. Get them!
Pretty cool how that gun was off of Brick Arms, and it looks like it's a Halo Magnum pistol, so pretty cool.
Oh.
Damn it, Batman. I wanted to kill him. What the hell? How are you alive?
Aha, bulletproof face.
You idiots, shoot them!
Yeah.
Joker doesn't even get a line in this one. That's a bit weird.
Robin, we both know who's gonna win this fight.
I can take anything you give me.
That's what she said.
Yeah!
Well, I guess I came out ahead.
Damn it!
Well, there's no positive endings, is there? It's all sadness and sad endings. I like how these credits are slightly slanted to the side. That's pretty cool. Credit to all these people. Fair play. Pretty funny. Oh crap! Hold on. There's epilogue.
Hey, Nightwing, you think you could take me to the hospital? I'm pretty sure Joker stuck his knife in my ass.
Sure, Batman, I'd be happy. Ah!
Oh shit, are you okay? What happened? What's the last thing you remember? Well, you were pissing me off, so I was thinking about becoming a new superhero called Nightwing. Oh, well, you changed your mind. I did? Well, where am I? And whose head is that? That's not important, Robin. Now let's go get some Dairy Queen. Yay, you're the best, Batman. I know.
Oh, so I forgot that happened. Well, ironically, yeah, I forgot that happened. I forgot that they do epilogues in that he did epilogues in his original funny Batman series. What did you think of that brick film then?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, probably enjoyed the other one more. The other one you sent me, the other Batman one.
Joker.
Yeah, probably enjoyed that one more. But this was still, yeah, it's still good.
Fair,
Not
fair.
as I didn't find it as funny, but still a few funny moments here and there.
Do you remember that Dragon Ball PP that I put on? When he kept going to Vegeta. And I was laughing my arse off. I
Maybe.
was back on ALP podcast. To be honest, it's a bit of a. I don't know if I want it on this podcast. To be honest, I want to react to something like that on this podcast because it's a bit mad. But
Okay.
even though I laugh my arse about it, I don't know. But to be honest, it's on YouTube, so you probably can't get in too much trouble for it. Before I end this, though, I want to say surprisingly, man, ALP is still up, which I'm really confused about because in the termination email, it said it would be gone by next August. So I thought any time between August 1st and August 31st it would have been terminated, but it hasn't. So I don't really know what's going on. I can't access the account still, so I'm a bit confused. But even if I could access the account, I just leave it as it is now. I'm happy. I'm really happy with the Banterous hour, bro. Like I've said before, I'm really happy with it. And I want full control. I don't want to rely on someone else's channel owner. So yeah, man, I'm a bit confused, but I suppose maybe it gives me a bit more time to archive stuff if I choose to do so, which I can't really be asked to be honest. But if I archive some more stuff, I can do, I guess. Because the Callum's Corner Archives channel messaged me about it, like ALP still up, and I'm like, yeah, it's really confusing. And because he said it's annoying that YouTube aren't letting you. Like, you think even if your channel's banned, they'd still let you access the account until it's banned. Because then you can, I don't know, make videos or do posts saying, yeah, the channel's going to be terminated, so archive what you want and I'll archive what I can. And this is a final video and have some, I don't know, a little bit of a hoorah or something. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Well, we'll nicely wrap that one up there then. You got any videos planned soon, Liam, or the videos you're working on, how they're going?
Still working on the games that define my childhood tier list or whatever. It's going to be probably going to be that.
Really hard.
Yeah, but I still need to record it and whatever. So
yeah.
So
you're writing it at the moment.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not going to script it. It's going to be like those are the tier list videos I did, or I've only done one tier list video. But it's probably just going to be like that, where I'm sort of just going through the different games on the tier list and sort of talking about maybe what I remember about those games, or like maybe how often I played them as a child and whatnot, and then how am I going to, and then decide where I'm going to rank them. I guess that's how I'm going to do it, really.
Fair enough, man. I guess I haven't mentioned it for a while, but my Red Dead 2 video, touch wood, it's coming on nicely. I've got around like 46 minutes done now, so because I'm not streaming at the moment, like unless it's like obviously these podcast streams. I'm not doing any Twitch streaming of games at the moment because I just want to get this Red Dead video done and get it out there and just get through as much as I can.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably going to end up being like another 1 hour video, isn't it? Like the complete saga one.
Yeah, definitely. It'll end up being between like 50 and 60 minutes. I don't think it'll get to quite an hour, but it'll be between 50 and 60 minutes, I reckon.
Okay.
And then every other video after that is going to be a lot shorter. Like I don't know. When I was writing the script for the complete saga and for this one, I just felt like I had so much to say. But after the next video, I'm going to talk about how finding true faith and following Jesus saved my life and helped me and continues to help me to this day. So I'm going to do that and talk about that in a video. That'll probably be about 10 to 15 minutes, because I was going to do one. The original title for the Red Dead videos, was How Red Dead 2 Saved My Life. But when I really thought about it, I thought, nah, that's not giving the Almighty enough credit for what he has done for me. So instead, I wanted to call the Red Dead video why Red Dead 2 is my favorite game, and then talk about, the Almighty in another video, which, it'll probably be like 10, 15 minutes. And it'll probably be easy to do, because I just sort of want to use, I'll probably use footage from other, Christian channels, and maybe just footage that I've got of scenery, like the tour videos that I've shown you of places I've been, like the coach tours where I've been on the coach filming as we driving past these places. But I'll probably mute the footage, because I don't want the tour guide's voice in the background while I'm trying to talk. And then maybe just some walks in local forests near me, just to show God's creation and all that beauty. So that should be a good video. And then after that, I'll do a Halo Reach review, which will hopefully be 20 to 30 minutes. And then maybe Battlefront 2 as well. So it should be fun.
Any reason why specifically? I know you said Halo Reach before, but any reason why specifically that one, or do you think you'll review any of the other Halo games?
So with the first question, with Halo Reach, I just feel like it's the most interesting one to talk about. I did think in my head I can call it Halo Reach 15 years later as well, but by the time I do it, it'll be 16 years later. Well, technically it's only 15, because 16 years later would have been the October of 2026, but I can still call it 16 years later anyway. I guess, I'm tempted to do Halo CE 2 and 3. But I don't know, I want to talk about Reach first. I just feel like that one was a big part of my childhood, and I feel like I'll have a lot to say about it. And with the other Halos, I didn't actually grow up and play them. I played a bit of Halo 3, but I didn't play that much online back on the 360. And then Halo Reach, I played a fair bit of online. Then Halo 4 came out, and I bounced between Halo 4 and Reach, because 4 wasn't that good. And the Halo CE Anniversary came out, so I got to experience the first Halo game. But the online was just done in Halo Reach. It wasn't done with Halo CE. So it was like Halo CE maps, but all with Halo Reach graphics, so it wasn't like a true experience. And then Halo Master Chief Collection gave the true experience, but obviously it wasn't. It was lagging all over the place for years. It took them till 2018 to sort the servers out properly, which was quite annoying. So, it's a bit of a shame. So I don't know. It depends how long I'm doing gaming reviews for and what my situation will be in 2027. But if I can still do gaming reviews and have the time to and the motivation, if it ever becomes a job, which I'd love that. I'd love to do YouTube as a job. Obviously, I'd like to still work or volunteer somewhere as well, because I don't want to just be sitting in the house editing all the time. But I'll probably volunteer somewhere to split the days up and not just be editing constantly. I'm just making videos constantly. So I don't know. Realistically, I reckon I'll probably review Halo Reach CE 2, 3. Potentially 4, because I feel like I'd have a fair bit to say about it, and I did play that game for a few years. Probably miss out on 5, to be honest with you. Although I played it loads, I've got 39 days on it on the Xbox One. So although I played it loads, I'll probably skip that one. Then Halo Infinite, maybe. Again, the problem is the games get so many updates now. It's like I'm not there for all the updates, so I won't be able to discuss it as well as someone who was there for all the updates. But to be honest, as a grown man in my mid-20s, I don't really have the time to just sit there and play games online loads and loads and loads. So it's a bit of a difficult one. Could definitely talk about the campaign on Halo Infinite. And obviously, Halo Wars 1 and 2, I don't really want to do a full video on. I wouldn't mind maybe mentioning them and giving them a quick mention and talking about them briefly. I'll just try and review what I can, I guess. There's other games I want to review, like GTA 4 and 5, Red Dead 1. Obviously, I'm working on the Red Dead 2 video. What else did I have on my list? BFBB, the movie game. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie game. Maybe Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I don't know. We'll just have to see, man. But I want to get some decent reviews out there, and hopefully they're not too shabby. Oh, and obviously discussion videos as well, like how to invest in gaming and things like that. But it depends. It depends, man. I'll just see how I feel about the videos that aren't related to gaming. Sometimes I can do really well. I look at Scott the Was an Act Man, but other times you're just another random video. It's just another random game video that no one's really bothered about. So I don't know. We'll see.
Sounds good. Yeah, look forward to it.
Well, as always, Mr. Liam, fellow co-host, thank you for giving up your time to discuss some films and take part in some segments. Much appreciated.
No problem. It's been fun again.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll end that one there then. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Have a good one. All we've got to say today. See you later.